This is Catherine Kramer, Town Planner for Farmington. I will start with doing a roll call and then turn it over to the chair. Evan Honeyman.
Here.
Jay O'Leary.
Here.
Jim Calciano. Absent or delayed. Sally Hatzenbuehler.
Here.
Jay Bombara.
Here.
John Renahan.
Here.
Liz Gemsky.
Here.
And Ted Sanford.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you, Catherine. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll call to order this virtual meeting of the Town of Farmington Historic District Commission for Tuesday, May 18th, 2021 at 4:01 p.m. And as Catherine said, Mr. Calciano is running a little bit late, so I would ask if Mr. Bombara would please read the entire public notice into the record.
Yeah, happy to. So notice is hereby given, thank you, that the Farmington Historic District Commission will hold online public hearings on Tuesday, May 18th, 2021 at 4 p.m. on the following applications. Apologies for people whose names I might not pronounce correctly. Brett Santisanio and Lisa Marin, application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to install cedar fence at 25 Hatters Lane. James Elkington, application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to install mini split condenser unit at 145 Main Street. Ms. Porter's School, application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to replace windows and install air handling unit at 64 Main Street. Ms. Porter's School, application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to screen HVAC system at 60 Main Street. At these hearings, interested persons may be heard. A copy of polls on file in the Planning Department of Town Hall, Farmington, and may be accessed online or by calling the Planning Department.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bombara. And for our first agenda item, Ms. Marin and Mr. Santisanio are here on behalf of 25 Hatters Lane. Could you please state your name and address for the record, and then please proceed with your presentation.
Hi, my name is Lisa Marin, and I'm here with Brett Santisanio. Our address is 25 Hatters Lane, Farmington, Connecticut, 06032. And we are hoping to have a 4-foot cedar fence installed along part of our property. And that's a portion of the fence on the far side of our property. It's not actually our fence, it belongs to our neighbor. But we decided that that sort of style was what we were gonna hope that we were proposing. So we actually, in walking around the neighborhood, found a similar fence. That fence is where Main Street meets Colton and I believe Carrington. That fence is a 6-foot fence. So ours will again be 4 feet. And we provided the map of the property where we drew in the location of the fence. So the idea was we didn't want to obstruct the street view of the front of our house. And we would be, you know, kind of running along the property line and then, you know, in front along the street up to the point of the front of the house, side of the house, depending on what you want to call it. So that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to open it up to the commissioners for questions and comments, and we'll start with Ms. O'Leary.
I don't have any questions right now.
Okay, Mr. Bombara.
You know, obviously, cedar fences are prevalent in the historic district and presumably appropriate. I would just ask, I guess because of the slope of the lot, the house lot, I guess it, you know, from the street, you'll still have some view of the house and you know, is that correct?
I think this is Brad. I think you'll have a full view of the house, and that we're okay with that in regards to it. You know, we're doing this really for children's safety and so our dogs don't bark at the neighbors, more or less. But as far as walking from the street, you should see almost a full house still.
Right. And then I guess I would just note, which makes it, I guess, more favorable, at least to me, is the fact that it's 4 feet rather than 6. So at least, you know, it is a little more inviting. And the other property, if people aren't sure that which one that is, that Scotty Donald's house that fronts on Main Street. That fence has been there for a while. But otherwise, I have no comments.
Thank you. Ms. Hatzenbuehler?
I don't have any questions or comments at this time.
Okay, Mr. Sanford?
No comments.
Jim has not joined us, is that right? I don't think he has. Okay, Ms. Gemske?
No, it's pretty clear to me. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Renahan?
Yeah, just a point of clarification. Is there any fence there now, or this will be brand new?
It will be brand new. There's a 6-foot stockade along the back of our property that comes down the side. So our 4-foot fence would be going up to that 6-foot fence along the back of our property. But currently, no, there's a stone wall that's about 2 feet high that runs along the property line between 25 and 23 Hatters. And along the front of the house, there are some rather large yews, bushes, and azaleas. So, you know, it is it's not an open space, and the fence will kind of go between the yews and the azaleas. So we're not taking those down.
Got it. Looks like a good plan. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the commissioners?
Just one clarification. You mentioned a 2-foot stone wall. Are you saying you're putting it on top?
No,
so it'll ultimately be 6 feet, or is it?
The stone wall belongs to 23 Hatters. So our fence will be on our property side of the stone wall. So it will be 4 feet from the ground to the top of the fence.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, if there are any questions or comments from the public, please raise your Zoom hand and Catherine will unmute you.
At this point in time, you can raise your hand in the Zoom function and we'll call on you to speak. I'll give you a little bit more time. If you're interested in public comment, please raise your hand in the Zoom function.
Okay.
I'm seeing no hands raised, so that concludes.
Okay, thank you. Can I please get a motion on this application?
I'll make a motion that we approve the
We may need to appoint an alternate
application.
for Jim.
I'm sorry, there was some cutting in it. There was cutting in and out there.
Yeah.
Evan, we will need to appoint an alternate for Jim.
Okay. So, and that's for the rest of the meeting, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll point Mr. Sanford to Mr. Calciano's place.
And if you're still seeking a motion, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we grant a certificate of appropriateness in accordance with temporary certificate of appropriateness in accordance with the application as submitted.
Thank you very much. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other further discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, please say aye. Hearing none, and any abstentions? Hearing none. Okay, the motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you, you too.
Okay. For our second agenda item, Mr. Elkington is here on behalf of 145 Main Street. Could you please state your name and address for the record, and then please proceed with your presentation.
Hi, my name is James Elkington of 145 Main Street, Farmington. We propose to install an environmentally friendly Mitsubishi inverter-based ductless split heat pump condensing unit for air conditioning for the family.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll open it up to questions and comments from the commissioners, and we'll start with Ms. O'Leary.
I don't have any questions. I think it will be pretty much hidden on Main Street. I looked at it and it looks like it won't be something, it won't be an eyesore, that it's going to be kind of hidden with the bushes that are in front already. So I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. Ms. Gemske?
No, I have no questions. Thank you.
Mr. Renahan?
Yeah, I know it's always tricky to place these things. So I just a question, James, was it placed there because that's what the electrician or whoever recommended and it's close to panels, or how did you, because I still think it could be visible from the street.
Yeah, it can be a little bit visible. About 6 months of the year when the foliage is down, you could see it. But it won't be like an eyesore or anything. It's like the most kind of efficient one we could find, like the most like small size and everything. We put it there because we only have a small amount of space in the back, which is next to where we go down to the basement. And we believe that it'd be better to put on the side than there, because my son would probably want to put stones in it because he likes to try climbing up that ramp there.
Thanks.
Ms. Hatzenbuehler?
No, I was just going to ask the dimensions on that, how large it was, unless you've already said that.
Yeah, it's 32 inches high, 13 inches deep, and 37 inches long.
Okay.
And it'll be on a 12-inch stand.
12-inch stand.
Yeah,
Okay.
it has to be on for snow apparently.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Bombara?
Yeah, John asked sort of the question I had, which was, why not put it behind the porch, it looks like there, but understand that it might not be feasible. And you say then it's about 30 inches tall plus maybe 12 inches. How far up will that go on the side? 2-3 clapboards, or you have a sense of that?
Yeah, it'd probably go up about 2 clapboards because of the stone below it. So it'd probably go up about two clapboards tall.
And what was the width on that again? The side view width?
It's 13 inches.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think it'll be terribly visible. Certainly, preference would be not to have mechanical type boxes, but obviously we have to allow for modern times, and I do think that it's relatively small and highly unlikely to be an eye-catching object.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. And Mr. Sanford?
I agree with Jay's comments. I don't think it's going to be too obvious, and there are certainly ones in the district that are far more obvious than that one's going to be. So I have no problem with it.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, if there are any questions from members of the public, please raise your Zoom hand and Catherine will unmute you.
And there are no hands raised at this time.
Okay, hearing none, can I please get a motion on this application?
Sure, I'll make a motion to grant a temporary certificate of appropriateness to 145 Main Street to install the Mitsubishi unit as described at the meeting.
Thank you very much. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by raising your hand and say aye.
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 All opposed, please say aye. Hearing none, any abstentions? Hearing none. Okay, the motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Take care. Okay, for our third item, Miss Bradley is here on behalf of Miss Porter's School for 64 Main Street. Could you please state your name and the address you're representing for the record, and then please proceed with your presentation.
Katie, please unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. Katie Bradley. I'm here today representing Miss Porter's School. This first application is for the property at 64 Main Street. We are hoping to replace all of the windows, and also we are looking to put air conditioning in a building next door to 64 Main Street, and we are the best, I'll show you with the aerial view, but the best way that we have been advised to go about that is to run it through 64 into 62 Main underground, but we need to have the air handling unit at 64. And when you're looking, I know these maps are so hard to see. So if you know, 60 Main is the really big building right there, 2 buildings over. And then there's a building, yes, that's 60 Main. The next one is 62. That is the building that we are installing AC in this summer with your blessing, I hope. And in order to do that, as you can see, that the 62 has really no place to hide. Those are walkways in between the buildings. It's closer to the street. And there's a large patio off the rear of that building. So the contractors and engineers that working with have suggested this as the best location. Sadly, it is visible from the street, and the place that is even better to put those air handling units already has air handling unit for 64. So I don't know, can you do photo number? So that's what you see from the street. And if you zoom in a little bit, you see that whatever we see right here, the next one at 15, that's the photograph up close. And what we are, if you look beyond the fire escape, the air handling unit that's currently there for that building is behind the shrubs. And what we're hoping to do is something similar with these. We have to install 2 air handling units, a 12-ton and a 6-ton, and they're proposing to put them on a concrete slab right under that fire escape. And as you can see, you do see the fire escape from the road, but not very easily. And we are proposing, I know that screening with shrubs is not necessarily always the way to solve this problem, but I would, we don't really know where else to put these. And it is the best spot, as you can see from this aerial shot. There's really no other place around 62 Main. All of those areas are really visible, and they're high trafficked areas. So that's the information that I have to share with you on the air handling units. There's another page that has the dimension. We're proposing to put the 12-ton in front of the 4-ton, and that is because we need the tallest height from the fire escape to put the 12-ton in the front. And it's 72 72 inches high, and it will be on a concrete pad. Will be very similar to the units that you allowed us to put in at our brick dorm at 48 Main Street last summer.
Okay.
So that's the information on the air handling units. And the windows, I think, are pretty easy. They're an aluminum clad wood window, aluminum clad. It's the Marvin Signature double hung product. And then we are going to replicate the mullions. And in this case, some of the windows have 4/4, some have 6/6, some have 8/8. We are going to just replace with the same pattern throughout the building.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I will open it up to the commissioners for questions and comments. And let's start first with Ms. O'Leary.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, Mr. Renahan.
No questions. I just do want to say, Katie, good job on everything else on campus. It looks great. I've done a recent walk around. I think this looks like the best plan you have available.
Thank you.
Mr. Bombara.
Yeah, just as usual for me, not as quick on the uptake probably. So which building, 64 or 62, is getting new windows?
The 64 is getting the windows.
And
Well, actually, both of them are getting windows. I'm sorry, but I've already presented 62 for windows. And today I'm asking for 64 with windows.
Oh, that's the second application, and maybe that's what I'm, no?
I was at the last hearing and got permission
Okay.
for 62.
Okay, so 64. So what we're looking at right now with the red circle, that's
Correct.
both getting the windows and we'll have the handlers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The handlers, though, are you saying will service 62?
Correct.
So what are you going to pipe it underground, or how does that work?
Yes, it's being piped underground. It's going actually into 64 through the basement, and then there's going to be conduit run from 64 to 62 basement, and then it will be piped up.
Okay. And
We
then
looked at a lot of different options, and this seemed to be the best one at the end of the day.
it is pretty snug there around all those buildings. And then you said, just so I'm clear, the two handlers, with the taller one being in the front. That's probably, actually, I prefer that. That makes sense to me. Not just because of making sure you can fit it under the fire escape, but I think then you just don't see the other one. So at least you're only seeing one object. But as far as, am I correct? You're saying is literally going to be underneath the fire escape, or is it going to sort of be,
Literally underneath, within the boundaries of that metal frame.
Yeah, okay. I have no problem. I mean, I think you've done, as usual, the best you can, and I appreciate that.
Okay, Mr. Sanford.
Yeah, I think the air handlers under the fire escape is a really good choice, because I think your eye is still going to be drawn to the fire escape and not the air handlers.
Mhm.
So I have no problem with that, and no problem with the windows either.
Ms. Gemske.
Be sure to unmute yourself if you're looking to speak.
Sorry, doing double duty here. No questions for me, thanks.
Okay, and Ms. Hatzenbuehler.
I don't have any questions either. Looks like a very thorough presentation, as always.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. If anybody is on from the public and you'd like to comment or ask a question, please raise your Zoom hand and Catherine will unmute you.
At this point in time, there are no attendees or hands raised in the Zoom function.
Okay, hearing none, can I please get a motion on this application?
I'll make a motion that we grant a temporary certificate of appropriateness for both the air handlers and the replacement windows at 64 Main Street in accordance with the application as submitted.
Thank you very much. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say aye. Hearing none. Any abstentions? Hearing none. Okay, the motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Don't go too far. All right, for our fourth item, Ms. Bradley is also here on behalf of Ms. Porter School for 60 Main Street. Could you please once again state your name and the address you're representing for the record, and then proceed with your always thorough presentations.
Yes, my name is Katie Bradley. I'm here today representing Ms. Porter's School, and we are asking for a temporary certificate of appropriateness for screening at our 60 Main Street building. As you all know, I was here a year and a half ago, presenting to you the big project that we did at 60 Main. And you all gave us your blessing. And it wasn't until this spring and when we realized, I don't think any of us could imagine what the kitchen rooftop units were going to look like as you were coming down Mountain Road. No one was really, when it's on paper, just really could not imagine that they would be so visible. And Bruce Sear and Shannon and Catherine reached out and asked if we would think about a way to screen these units. You see them when you're walking by on the sidewalk, but it's really apparent when you're sitting at that light at Mountain Road and Main Street. So we reached out to the architects, Centerbrook Architects, and asked them if they had some ideas. You gave us permission to do that really beautiful little screen up there on the top, but unfortunately it hides the equipment when you're down on the ground, but it doesn't really hide the equipment when you're coming down Mountain Road. And so we have a series of photographs just showing you, we had a meeting with the town and the architects, and we walked Mountain Road, and the architects brought a large piece of foam core with them. And it was an opportunity for us to determine how high this screening would need to be. And if you see where the little cursor, the hand is, that white line is 6 feet. So this is a 4x8 piece of foam core, and one of the architects is holding that up on the rooftop. And that tape, the white line, indicates 6 feet. So we were all in agreement that 6 feet would be high enough to screen all of the 4 or 5 different rooftop units. And with that said, we got a size, and then our proposal is then to use an aluminum fencing material that is also already on the project. It's got louvers, they're fixed, but it will help. There is a concern that mounting something a 6-foot fence on a flat roof could be damaged in high winds. So they've engineered a way to attach this to the existing smaller screening. And this is it's a design that is already on the project, and there is a photograph of it around our generator. Let's see, there it is. So it's the color is a bronze matte, and I think we were all in agreement standing there on the site that while it's not beautiful from a distance, it does screen all of the units on the roof. And the thought is that it would start where that stack is, where the exhaust chimney is, and then wrap around all the way to the front edge of the brick building, so that it would screen everything. You wouldn't see those units. And the hope is that because it's a darker color, it's just, you're not even going to see it. We talked about possibly making it look like brick. All sorts of ideas were thrown out there, and everything else that was suggested, there was a concern that it would actually be more noticeable than if we just kept it. And you can see here in this photograph down there, that's what it looks like from a distance. It's like, no one thinks it's beautiful, but it is the best that we have come up with in-house and with the architects. And as I said before, Catherine and Bruce were there on site, and we got enough of an okay to at least come forward and make this presentation, with the hope that you all are okay with it. And if you have any other suggestions, please feel free to throw those out.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll open up to questions and comments from the commissioners. We'll start with Ms. Gemske.
I just wondered if you looked at or considered a lattice type screen versus that kind of stockade looking screen.
Well, the horizontal, it's more of a horizontal pattern, and we do have lattice on campus. We didn't consider it because it really doesn't match any of the other patterns or screening or fencing on the building, but that's something we certainly could consider.
Yeah, I was just curious. Thanks.
Ms. Hatzenbuehler?
I was just gonna ask, you're saying that the screen is consistent with others on the campus?
On that project, that
Yeah, okay. I think consistency is always good in terms of visual. Having it consistent is, something that makes sense.
So our goal is to actually put something there that doesn't draw your attention at all. And we did think about something that with more of an open pattern, but then you see the light coming through it and you see it's busier.
Mhm. Thank you.
We also offered to we were hoping to start by just painting all of the units a dark color so they didn't stand out so much. But Bruce Sears' experience with that is that it requires maintenance, and it's hard to get companies to repaint as the paint starts to peel, and it will peel. So he asked us to really consider the screening.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Bombara?
Thank you. Katie, so just once again, clarification. So this panel will run basically from, what is that, the vent, that little stack there?
Yes,
All the way to the edge, to the brick, to the side of the building?
correct.
Okay, what's that length about approximately?
16 feet. 16
But-
to 20, 16 to 20, and then it turns the corner, and that's probably another 8 feet to that stack. So
Turns which corner?
so where that stack is that chimney
That
is about 6 feet from the corner. So there is another picture, maybe the one with the generator. Yes. Oh, there you go.
So it'll run on that side? Okay.
Yes. And it stops at that stack. We're not wrapping it all the way.
Oh, that makes sense. I couldn't figure out why you would need to do that, so there's no way you can see behind that. Okay, that makes sense. I will say that I think doing the entire length makes sense. It'll make a clean line. It'll make it less likely that you'll notice it again because you won't see a space, if you will, or anything else. So I do think that makes sense. Somebody that comes down that road all the time, you don't really notice that whole space. Even in fact, you're showing the section you've already put up to hide the other generator. I mean, you don't really see that, and I'm hoping you won't see it too much on the other. So it's probably a pretty good solution. I think the color, even though I guess we're technically not telling you what color to make it, makes a lot of sense because that obviously fits right in with the other colors on the building. Your picture from Mountain Road, though, does show one glaring thing, which is it would have been, or I'll rephrase that. It would be nice if someday the town can help us get rid of the telephone lines, and then you have a really nice, clean look in town.
Yes.
I mean, I know I'm being somewhat facetious, but it is too bad. But that's one of the most iconic, beautiful sites in town, and I guess I'm pretty fortunate that every day I probably get to see it a couple of times. So appreciate what you and Ms. Porters have done, and I think you found the best solution you can.
Well, thank you. I know maybe we can get everything buried before they do the sidewalks.
I was at that meeting. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I was joking. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sanford?
So I come down that hill multiple times a day also, walking and driving. And I have never noticed that screen on the right-hand side. It's never jumped out at me. So I think of the choices, I think you're probably making the best one. So I have no problems with it.
Okay, Ms. O'Leary?
Yeah, I agree. I have no problems with it. I think it's a good solution. I think, as Ted just said, you won't even notice it. I think the color is good. I think it's going to look pretty good. It'll do the job.
Okay, and I know Mr. Renhan signed off, but he did say he had no comments. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, if anybody is on from the public and would like to ask a question or a comment, please raise your Zoom hand and Catherine will unmute you.
At this point in time, I don't see any hands raised in the Zoom function.
Okay, hearing none, can I please get a motion on this application?
I'll make a motion that we grant a temporary certificate of appropriateness to Ms. Porter's school with respect to the metal screening of the rooftop kitchen units at 60 Main Street in accordance with the application as submitted.
Thank you. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
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 All opposed, please say aye. Hearing none, any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
Have a good night.
Yep, thank you.
All right, so that concludes our public hearing for the evening, and we can move on to other business. I have none, but does anybody want to add anything? No? Okay, hearing none. For the staff report, Catherine or Shannon, do either of you have a staff report?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you. And then moving on to approval of the minutes, we have the meeting minutes from our last regular meeting, which was on April 20th, 2021. I read them. I know Mr. Calciano read them. We had no changes, but would anybody like to comment or make any changes? No? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, please say aye. Hearing none, and any abstentions? Hearing none. Okay, the minutes are passed. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for your time this evening. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
All
Or
right.
second.
Any further discussion?
Thank you,
All
Evan.
right.
Good
Hearing
meeting.
none, all in
Thank you
favor,
very
please
much.
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, please say aye. Hearing none, and any abstentions? Hearing none. Okay, thank you, everybody. Have a great evening.
You too.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Take care.